And good evening and welcome to CBS News Weekend. My name is Doris Waithera. And drama ensued outside the Ruiru Courts, Kiambu County, after anti-terror police rearrested the Democracy for the Citizens Party DCP youth leader Peter Kinyanjui alias Kawanjiru. Peter Kinyanjui Wanjiru and Sarah Wanjiko Thega were separately rearrested in a dramatic scene that saw security officers shoot in the air to scare the crowd. Kawanjiru had just secured a bond for his release and was heading home when chaos erupted. In video circulating online, anti-terror police forcefully grabbed Kawanjiru into a moving van while others fired gunshots. The court vicinity was filled with shouts from supporters and family trying to block the rearrest.
Any notice to the respondent to avail himself of the investigating officer shall be relayed to his counsel, shall also be relayed to his counsel with no less than 24 hours notice. Any shorter time must be with the concurrence of the respondent and his counsel.
Naachilia mtoto wangu naenda kumchukua hivi juu ya kufuraha, hata hawezi kubali akanyange mchana. Wanakuja wananisukuma watu maskari, hata sijaiona, ni kama ameiba. Kinyanjui hajaua mtu, Kinyanjui hajaiba kitu ya mtu. Wanamtoa kwa mikono yangu na wanapiga risasi kwa koti na wanarusha tear gas.
She was grabbed from Kiambu police station. And the OCS indicated that she was not told where Wanjiko Thega was being taken, but she was aware that it is the DCI who took Wanjiko Thega. Up to this point, we are not aware where she is.
A team has already been dispatched. They already have the information on where she is or where she's being taken. So they are following to see where she is. From what you have realized, that's the highest amount they are going. They have very frivolous applications.
Kitu inatuuma sana kukuati tunapatiwa cash bail tunakuja hapa and then tukingoja kwe release anashikwa tena na ana charge for terrorism. What crime are we the young people committing for being just young people, being girls, being part of revolution yenye tunataka happen in our country?
Any notice to the respondent to avail himself of the investigating officer shall be relayed to his counsel, shall also be relayed to his counsel with no less than 24 hours notice. Any shorter time must be with the concurrence of the respondent and his counsel.
And on to our second story of the day. During the burial of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's aunt Gladys Gathoni Kahua, the former Deputy President reached out to Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha Karua to ensure justice will be served for Kawanjiru and Wanjiko Thega. The two DCP youth leaders present also strongly condemned the terror being rained on youths. In a statement, the Judicial Service Commission, headed by Chief Justice Martha Koome, has condemned the use of excessive force and called it unjustified and an insult to the authority and dignity of the judiciary. The JSC acknowledged that the accused had been lawfully released on bond following a court ruling.
I was informed yesterday there is a girl called Wanjiko Thega and Peter Kawanjiru. The MP for Kikuyu ordered the DCI to have the two arrested because they are from Kiambu and be charged with banning the locals in Kikuyu and storming police stations in Dagoretti. They were arrested with no evidence, nothing, no charge, nothing. And in the two cases, the magistrates ruled there is nothing. There is no reason for them to be held. Moja akaachiliwa on free board, mwingine kwa cash bail ya 200,000. Huyu MP wa Kikuyu akatafuta William Ruto na akamwambia hiyo watoto wasiwachiliwe, lazima wafungwe. So police wakasema the only way, because now the courts have released them, there is no other way. They should be rearrested and charged with offenses under the Terrorism Act.
Your Excellency, the Second Deputy President, Nagasheri, musijali, kesi zote ni kesi zetu. Sio lazima tujue wasasi, sio lazima tujue hao vijana, kesi zote ni kesi zetu, na ndivyo unaona tukienda.
Unakumbuka wakati mwingine ule mtu mwingine hapo akija, kwa sababu anasema yeye ni profesa, akisema sasa hao watu tutakuwa tukiwashtaki na makosa under the Terrorism Act. Reason being ndio tuendelee kuwaweka katika remand, tuwanyime bail and bond. We cannot remain silent in the face of such monumental atrocities being committed against the youth of this country. We must begin preparing to take William Ruto and his, because it is a command responsibility.
And People's Liberation Party PLP leader Martha Karua has challenged the opposition outfits to remain united in their quest to unseat President William Ruto. She also issued a strong stand warning to President Ruto that on establishing a contrary government to that written in the Constitution of Kenya 2010.
Lakini tumemwambia William Ruto, take it from me, you will not be able to abrogate the Constitution. You will not be able to establish any government in Kenya contrary to the Constitution of Kenya 2010. As Kenyans, tutaungana, tutakusukuma na hutaweza hiyo. And I repeat, we will not allow you. I know that you are emulating your brother in the neighboring country, M7, but I know you are an apprentice. We shall not allow your graduation as a dictator. Hiyo tutakomesha kama wa Kenya.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki took President William Ruto's election campaign to the coast where he dismissed critics of the Kenya Kwanza administration and outlined region's development projects. He highlighted the completion of Dongo Kundu bypass and promised that President Ruto would inaugurate it at a later date. Sabina Chege, who had accompanied the deputy president, urged Kenyans to maintain peace and told youths not to be manipulated to cause violence.
Hii bypass ya Dongo Kundu ilikuwa imekwama hapo kidogo hapo nyuma. Ilikuwa imeanza wakati wa serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto akiwa naibu wake. Wakati Rais Ruto amekuwa rais, amekamilisha hiyo Dongo Kundu, itakuja sasa kufunguliwa rasmi wakati wowote na Rais William Ruto. Jambo la mwisho, iko maneno ya shamba hapa imetatiza wananchi. Pale vijiweni, huyu Mishimboko ameshaambia rais, ameambia Joho na Mvuria, Abdul Swamad na Mama Chani, viongozi wote wa pwani waketi pamoja. Hiyo shida ya vijiweni tunaenda kumaliza hiyo mambo ya shamba hilo, ndio wananchi wapate haki yao.
Sisi tumekuwa pamoja katika azimio na tukasema tunataka Kenya moja, na tumekuja hapa ili tuwezeshe wamama na vijana wetu, kwa sababu wakati hakuna amani katika nchi ya Kenya, wale ambao wanaumia ni sisi wakina mama, sio? Wangapi wanataka amani katika nchi ya Kenya? Wangapi wanasema amani? Tumuombe Mwenyezi Mungu atupe amani katika nchi ya Kenya. Tufanye amani. Tuseme tunataka amani. Na kwa vijana wetu na waomba kwa heshima, tusikubali wale ambao wanatudanganya tufanye vurugu. Wale wanataka tusumbue viongozi wetu. Wale wanataka nchi ya Kenya watu wapigane.
And Wajir East Member of Parliament Aden Dawood has urged young people to maintain peace as the country prepares for this year's Sabasaba demonstrations on Monday, July 7, 2025. Speaking during a development tour in his constituency on Saturday, Dawood warned against violence and destruction of property. Dawood also cautioned politicians not to use young people for their selfish political interests and called on the government to roll out more programs targeting young people, saying it is the only way to reduce the risk of unrest.
It is true that there is an issue of Gen Z. Gen Zs are our sons and daughters. There's nothing wrong with being young. There's nothing wrong with the people agitating for their rights. But we say that any protest, any demonstration, people have the right to demonstrate. I am a lawyer and I'm a lawmaker. So our constitution guarantees the right to picket, the right to demonstrate. But the constitution is very, very clear. You can only picket or demonstrate peaceably, which means you must come in peace. So another thing that I am alive to is the fact that Kenya has a very young population and we have very high unemployment rate. As a government, as a country, we will address the unemployment issues so that our young men and women have something to do. We encourage them to continue doing what they are doing, but we discourage them from violence. We discourage them from destruction of life and property. So Sabasaba is a date in our calendar.
We take a short break. We will be right back. Don't go far.
You're watching CBS News.
Welcome to Competitive Training Institute, empowering you with in-demand skills. At Competitive Training Institute, we equip you with practical, job-ready skills that open doors both locally and internationally. Whether you're aiming to become a qualified caregiver, certified plumber, skilled automotive mechanic, or want to learn a foreign language like French, Arabic, or German, and many more, we've got the right course for you. Our hands-on training, guided by experienced instructors and aligned with market demands, ensures you're ready to compete and succeed in today's job market. We don't just train, we help you get hired. Our job placement team supports you in finding meaningful work after graduation. We are proudly accredited by NITA, ensuring high standards in all we offer. Ready to begin? Call us on 020-200-192 or 0721-223081 or email us at competitivetraining@gmail.com. Your journey starts here. Let's build your future together.
Join our team at AYTB in partnership with Competitive Manpower. AYTB is seeking qualified candidates for the following positions: technical advisor, QA or QC personnel, shop coordinator, report organizer, rotating equipment repair technician, valve overhaul technician, machining technician.
Contact us today on 0721506627 or 0733392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available.
You're watching CBS News.
Welcome back. Led by Isiolo South MP Mohamed Tupi, leaders demanded an end to abductions of MCAs in Isiolo County. Tupi urged the government to restore order and security in Isiolo. He also warned that Governor Guyo was securing a favorable court orders in advance to shield him once the Senate concludes the impeachment process.
We have reliable information that the governor is securing favorable court orders in advance, designed to shield him once the Senate concludes the impeachment process. Once again, we repeat, democracy is not a crime. We have reliable information that the governor is securing favorable court orders in advance, designed to shield him once the Senate concludes the impeachment process.
And Deputy Party Leader for Democracy for the Citizens Party, DCP, Cleophas Malala, claimed that armed police in plain clothes were encased among goons yesterday in Bungoma and were targeting former Deputy Rigathi Gachagua, claiming that they almost lost their lives.
Jana, karibu tupoteze maisha ya kiongozi wetu Rigathi Gachagua. Tulikuwa tumekaa naye ndani ya gari, na viongozi wengine pia walikuwa kwa gari zao, lakini mimi nilikuwa nimekaa naye ndani ya gari. Na wakaweka vijana kwa barabara wanachoma mataa na polisi wanawachunga. Na ndani ya hao watu sisi tulidhania tu ni vijana wako na rungu, tukasema si chote tutoe hao vijana kwa barabara. Ile kitu mliona, tukaona magari zetu zikapenduka, tukaamua tuachane na hao watu. Ndani ya hao vijana kuna mapolisi wamevaa plain cloth, wako na bunduki na walikuwa wanajaribu kupiga kwa gari ya deputy president wetu. Mumeona gari yake iligongwa mawe, haikugongwa mawe mahali popote, iligongwa mawe upande yake peke yake. So William Ruto, ujue ukigusa Rigathi Gachagua, umeguza kiongozi wa Kenya. We want to warn you. Sababu mnasema muna arrest goons na nyinyi mnatumia askari wanaingia ndani ya goons na wako na risasi. Ukiona kwamba sisi tulikuwa na askari wawili watatu, angalau wale ambao walikuwa wanatuchunga, walikuwa na waheshimiwa wetu wengine, walipiga risasi zikaisha, lakini risasi za wale watu za goons bado ziko. So mimi ningependa kuomba rais, ulipeana amri kwamba Rigathi asitoke kwa mlima, asiingie kule Western Region, lakini nimepokea leo ripoti kwamba wale Waluya wa huko Western Region wanasema bila Rigathi hao hakuna mwelekeo watapata kwa mtu mwingine kama si huyu Rigathi Gachagua. So you have a special child from Wamunyoro.
Now, a section of Kenyan youths from non-profit ABLE organization have come together to address the 90-day freeze of USAID for African countries, which has disrupted services ranging from HIV treatment, maternal health, seed distribution, conservation, and livelihoods, revealing systemic vulnerabilities and inequality, economic and financial challenges, not only in Kenya, but globally.
We are talking about beyond aid, and because we have been seeing that mostly us as Africans, we are always depending on aid, especially for our development sector. And we are here ensuring that we are bringing experts together, youths together, so that we may have the discussion to see what can we do as youths to ensure that we are not solely depending on only aid.
We are all in agreement that end of aid is not a death sentence, but rather we want to view it as a lifeline where our ecosystems become mature to deal with financial shocks. So we agree here today that whatever small ways, whatever small impact that we are creating within our small organizations, we are making a commitment to take actionable steps in that our organizations and the work that we do, the structures of our organizations are more self-sustaining, even in the event of donor cuts.
So we are looking forward and towards a resilient country that solves its own internal issues. In terms of food security, we have our own domestic initiatives that are sustainable to this point that we can feed our own country, that we can be able to provide essential services in terms of health, in terms of education, and in terms of agriculture, and that we are able to be sustainable.
For persons with disabilities, there are projects that were affected by USAID cutting of funds. The government, to ensure that the inclusion aspect has been adhered to, as we are aware that there is a new Disability Act which the President assented a month ago, and it has to be implemented.
First, our country is so rich in resources, and the resources that we have locally, if they are well managed and mobilized, then they can fund.
And on matters food security, Agriculture and Livestock Development Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe presided over the official opening of the Nakuru ASK Show 2025 themed Promoting Climate Smart Agriculture and Trade Initiatives for Sustainable Economic Growth. He revealed that Kenya is currently facing serious shortages in key commodities including rice, wheat, palm oil, cotton, and yellow maize. He noted that the private sector could play a significant role in bridging this gap by leasing government land to cultivate food and animal crops. The CS also urged Kenyans to lease idle government land to help address the country's growing food deficit. Kagwe identified land owned by the Agricultural Development Corporation and the Kenya Prison Service as readily available for leasing, encouraging the private sector to invest in food production.
Because you are doing an average, CAM was very expensive, 22 megawatts. Hydro is reasonably cheap, around 3 shillings per kilowatt. So your
but your thermal can last for years and years, and so the period of amortizing the cost can be stretched to 60 years.
We should, and that's what we are working on.
This is where we want to go with the private sector. We invite them to partner with us in locally growing food and export crops that are critical for our food security and export earnings. We invite them to work with us by leasing the large tracts of government-owned land that is lying idle or is underutilized, from ADC farms to government institutions-owned land in the prison services, etc.
We have been competing for over 25 years in Matters Show. We don't even call ourselves an exhibitor. We are stakeholders in this thing. We've invested. You see, we have even a permanent stand. It makes me feel very, very happy, because we have never achieved this record. We entered in all the classes and we won in all the classes. It is something that is a milestone. Last year we did well, and this year we beat what's our performance of last year.
And let's get sporty. Kenyan runners showed their incredible strength at the AJC Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta yesterday, the 4th of July, with Helen Obiri winning the women's 10-kilometer and Patrick. This famous race, held every Independence Day in USA, draws over 60,000 participants, making it the world's largest 10-kilometer event. The strong results from Kenyan athletes once again proved their dominance in global long-distance running. Kenyan male runners took all the top 6 spots, showing their strong presence in long-distance running. Congratulations to all the winners. And tonight, we've brought you stories of hardship and hope, of challenges overcome, battles yet to be fought, and victories achieved. We encourage you to stay informed and involved. My name is Doris Waithera. Have a good night.
You're watching CBS News.
Almarai Company, in collaboration with Competitive Manpower, is urgently hiring for the following exciting roles: Grade 1 mechanics, panel